Hi, you guys. This is September 30th, Wednesday, September 30th. And for today's lesson, make sure that you guys are doing your virtual classroom check-in form, especially block one. Please make sure that you guys are doing your virtual check-in form for block two, block three, and four. While you guys are on the virtual learning by yourself, try to practice your virtual expectation checklist. Have your cell phones on silent or off. Practice the 4 Bs. And of course, you're not going to be chatting responsibly, but still be responsible, be on time, and be in a quiet space so that you can focus. So take a look at yesterday's lesson. And it doesn't hurt to review what we did yesterday and the day before so that you can remember what we talked about. Don't forget, we will have a quiz next week about the unit of Mesopotamia. So it's very important for you to remember what we have talked about. Today, we will be talking about ancient Mesopotamia government. We have talked about the writing of cuneiform. We have talked about their innovation. And within these innovation and writing, we want to talk about how important their government had also prospered in Mesopotamia. So here's a video about Mesopotamia's government.
Hi you guys, this is Miss Tao. Today we will be talking about ancient Mesopotamia's government. And let's revisit yesterday's city-states. City-state is a city and surrounding area that is also an independent nation with its own army, currency, and leaders. And today we want to take a closer look at what happens inside of these walls. What are some of the rules and how do they govern these city-states? Before we watch a video, you will get your worksheet. And inside this worksheet, there's a couple of questions to keep in mind while you are watching this video. And these questions, make sure you follow along with the video to answer them. And to do this, you can always flip the screen so that you have your questions and your Google Meet on one side. We will watch this video about Sumer government and Mesopotamia.
Each city-state in Sumer has a king called an Ensi. We believe he was chosen by the gods to rule us, and that it was the gods who gave us our laws. Our king makes judgments when people have arguments. He's in charge of all our trade with other cities. He decides who gets to farm our fields. And he makes sure that God's temples are in good repair and that all the right offerings are made. He's got a whole lot to do. So obviously, he needs other people to help him do it. My dad is one of them, and of course my brother helps because he's a priest. Maybe I'll work there too when I'm older. Scribes keep records on clay tablets of everything that happens each year. The king and the priests all work in the ziggurat. It's full of offices and workrooms and storage spaces. To support the king and the priests, our people pay taxes throughout the year. Usually it's something like a couple of sheep or bags of grain. But there are taxes on almost everything. We get taxed on the livestock we own and on the fish we catch. We even get taxed on our funerals. In our city, every man who is head of a household has to pay a tax called the burden. It's not the usual kind of tax. It's time, not goods. The men have to spend time working for the government, doing things that help or protect the city. For example, my uncle helped to harvest the barley crop. Other men have to go dig out the irrigation ditches to keep them clear. Our neighbor sent one of his slaves to do his work. My dad says you're not supposed to, but people do it if they can afford it. All the taxes go to the king. They pay for our army, which is pretty expensive, and also for repairs and improvements to our city. My grandfather always says, there are priests and there are kings, but the tax man is the one you should be afraid of.
All right. So I want you guys to have a class discussion on what you saw, what you heard, and what was interesting to you.
So keep in mind about Mesopotamia's government. In what you learned about Mesopotamia government, they had one king who ruled one city-state, and beside the king, you had the priests. Because the king had so much to do within that city-state, he needed a second-hand person. Here goes the word scribes again, right? And you have the scriber who wrote everything down of what they were doing. And then they talk about taxes and what kind of form of taxes and who actually paid some of these taxes and how the taxes also help improve their cities. You will also find your worksheet in your Google Classroom under this tab, or you can go to this Google slide and click on here, okay? So a special note for you guys, I will discuss the fill in the blank for the first portion in this worksheet today. And then the second portion in your worksheet will be independent work. We will discuss your response in class tomorrow on Thursday. So go ahead and pull up this worksheet and make a copy for yourself. And I will also make a copy. And let's work this out together. All right, for one, in Sumer, the king was called what was that? Ensi. All right, for two, what are the duties of an Ensi? And an Ensi was the king. So do you remember what the duties were? That's okay, I had to write mine down too. So the duties of an Ensi was to make judgment when people had arguments, trading with other city-states, also who determined who farmed the fields, also kept the temple in good condition, and offerings were made. All right, what's the priest's job? The priest's job was to work in the ziggurat, which was the temple, all right? And this person served as the king's right-hand person. So whatever the king needed help with, he would call on his priest. Do you guys remember what kind of form the taxes were paid in? Taxes were paid in what kind of form? Do you guys remember? Taxes were paid in sheep or bags of grain. All right, what about list some of the things that Sumerians were taxed on? They were taxed on the livestock, which is animals, fish, and their own funeral, right? The head of the household paid taxes called burdens, which are taxes paid in what? Time, not goods. And the last question, how do the taxes help each city-state? I'm going to move this over so I can have all this in one. So taxes, just like how modern day today, taxes help each city-state pay for the army, repairs, and improvements to the city. All right, awesome, you guys. So this last portion, you will work on this, and do not turn it in yet until Thursday morning after we've discussed it. Number 8 here, compare the similarities and differences between ancient Mesopotamia's government and today's society. So you're going to take a look at what is similarities, which are in common or the same thing. Differences, different or not the same. So you want to take a look at what Mesopotamia and what we have in today's society, what are the same with taxes, okay? And then what is the difference from Mesopotamia and today's society with taxes, all right? So I gave you guys an example here. So the similarities in both civilization and our society today is that taxes help maintain cities and buildings, parks, education, and many more. And we pay taxes on everything, right? The difference is that today, in modern day, we pay taxes with money, okay? Not with animal or food, but we pay taxes with money. All right. So I want you to continue on with telling me what the similarity is between Mesopotamia and today's society with a ruler, and the difference also with the priest and form of taxes. Don't forget about your Cornell questions and Cornell summary. I will see you guys tomorrow.